Hello, Facebook. This is Danielle Mapes, team leader of Keller Williams Ann Arbor, here today with Martin Bama of the Bama Group Realtors. How are you today, Martin?
I'm doing great. Doing great, yes.
Fantastic. And here comes our fun little second window that pops up and always does an audio overlay for us. Always keeping us on our toes, Zoom.
That's right.
All right. So, Martin, in fact, when we were talking about the topic we're going to discuss today, I didn't quite tell you this part of it, but the reason this is coming up, it's okay. It's no big deal. The reason why it's coming up is because we are having masterminds in the Ann Arbor Market Center where our agents get together and they talk about the market of the moment. As we all know, consumers included, right now we are in a historically unprecedented inventory and price point situation. It is an incredibly lucrative market for those who can sell their home, buy at a low interest rate, even though the price point is high, but it's also very competitive. It is so difficult for buyers right now. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing with your buyer pipeline so that folks can understand the market that we're in?
Well, it's interesting. We are right now in a market that's literally totally uncharted, right? We've never experienced this. Like what I've noticed, just the houses that we put under contract in the last couple of weeks, they are literally selling 10 to 12% higher than they were 30 days ago. Now that's a pretty interesting statistic, right? I look at every listing is going way over list, minimum 10%. And so I think the number one thing is we have to really educate buyers up front as to what's going on in the marketplace. And you really have to know what's going on. Like if you think about it, King's School, nothing for sale. Angel School, nothing for sale. Burns Park, nothing for sale, right? There's like, and so when you're dealing with that kind of a situation, that buyer has to be, number one, totally prepared to take the advice of the realtor and get the right advice, right? I'm constantly talking to agents now who have properties under contract. I want to find the story because the comps of even 60 days ago are irrelevant, totally irrelevant. And so what I'm doing when I'm calling these people, I'm finding every agent I'm talking to, these properties are selling 10, 15% over what they were 30, 60 days ago. So the number one thing, I think you've got to have really strong knowledge about what's happening current in that marketplace. And that comes down to you've got to have really good relationships with other realtors. I mean, you guys, you've got, the relationships you have with your co-realtors is incredibly important so that you can all work together on this. But all that being aside, the buyer has to be 100% updated and qualified. They got to be hooked up with a lender that is going to work very efficiently for you, right? You've got to explain to them that they're going to probably have to write over list price, that they're going to have to be able, if they're not cash, they have to make up the difference between sale price and appraisal. They have to act quick. You don't have 3-4 days to think about it, right? You might even want to do things like, this is one situation I just heard where they offered this crazy price, and they also are picking up all of the seller's costs, commission, transfer taxes. So this is what's going on right now in the marketplace. And so there's going to be a situation sometimes where if your buyer's not prepared for that, some of them might just have to step back for a little bit because that's what we're experiencing right now. But I think the most important thing is if you write an offer, make sure you write. Like, it's amazing how many offers I get. The agent doesn't even call me. They don't even call me to find out what is the situation, what would make the offer more delicious, right? They don't even call to see if I've got it. You've got to be in constant communication with that listing agent. Hey, what do I need to do? Where are we at? You know what I mean? It's the smart agents are calling me and say, hey, Martin, this is where my buyer's going to write. Is it going to do it? You know what I mean? And you can give little hints and stuff like that. And so make sure you got everything for that offer. It's got to be written well. You've got to have the pre-approval letter. You've got to have a copy of the earnest deposit check. Don't cut any single corners because the minute a listing agent has to work too hard on an offer, when you've got 10 offers sitting on your desk, you're going to go somewhere else. Lenders are very important. In this market, I want to have lenders that I know and trust. I don't want to get a lender from out of the area that doesn't return my phone calls. So it's just, you just really have to be on your game. But I think the most important part is really let the buyer know what they're walking into.
Oh, 100%. We've been talking about this a lot in our brokerage. And as you know, I am diligently working to make sure that everyone who is a realtor outside of our brokerage knows we value you as a co-op. We want great transactions. We
Yeah,
want them to be smooth. And we are on one team this spring. Okay. We're here to put things together and make sure the consumer gets what they need.
yeah,
So, but I'm getting so much feedback about, the fear is all our time is going to be sucked up and we won't be working smart. We'll be working hard, but not smart. So I want to get into a few of the specifics that realtors can do to make sure that their time is being well used this spring and that their buyers are being well prepared. And I think a lot of that comes back to that initial buyer consult and having a series of questions that are going to help you understand, is this person motivated to buy, and is it an urgent need? Do they have a deadline? Are they competitive? And if they're not, what kind of follow-up and education plan are we going to put them on to connect them with a lender that will help make them competitive? Can
yeah.
you give us any examples about how you can take a non-competitive buyer and try to put some pieces in place to make them more competitive? Have you seen anything successful?
Well, it comes down to what are you willing to do, right? If like you can write over list price offers all day long, but keep in mind, probably 20-25% of the deals right now are cash. So if you're a mortgage person, you're almost out of the game unless you write an offer, you go over list price, you sell them, you'll make up the difference between the sale price and appraisal. And if you're going to be really smart, you actually show that you have the extra assets to do that. And let me tell you a story about that. I've had situations where they say, oh yeah, they've got the $20,000, right? Well, the realtor is I've had this, they literally tell the buyer, don't worry, it's going to appraise. It's not going to be a problem there, right? And then it doesn't appraise. Well, yeah, they have $20,000, but that was their down payment, right? And so when I want to make sure when I'm in competitive situations as a listing agent, if they're making up the difference between sale price and appraisal, I want to know, I want to see their total assets. Do they have enough for the down payment and for the appraisal gap? Because some agents don't understand that, right? They don't know how to ask the question. And all of a sudden the appraisal comes in low, they don't have enough money to cover the appraisal gap.
So if you're a consumer, I want you to tune in really quick here, because this advice that Martin is giving you is ironclad, and you need to make sure you're with the right realtor when you
Right,
go out and try to be a buyer in the spring market. It is not easy, but there are still good opportunities to be had. You just have to have the right agent. And to note that the board of realtors, I want to say that the Ann Arbor area board of realtors grew by 40% year over year. That is insane. That means there's a lot of newbies out there. And if you're a newer realtor and this is the first time you're hearing this kind of advice, you need to really turn back to your brokerage and ask yourself if you're getting the training and education you're going to need to be successful in this market, because it is a very competitive and exhausting market right now
right,
for
right.
realtors and buyers alike.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'm saying is, I'm on the phone every day, talking to probably 10, 15 sellers. I do believe the second quarter, we're going to see a real surge in activity in listings. I mean, that's what we're experiencing, right? And so for February, it already looks like we're going to have about 15 listings. And just because by having communication, so I also tell buyers, you guys, if you can't compete, like how do you compete when there's no houses in an elementary school district? One house comes up, 12 people want it, right? It's almost impossible to compete in that situation. So some might just have to sit out a little bit until there's just a little more inventory, right? To where things come down to earth a little bit, because this is not sustainable.
It's not sustainable, and
No.
buyers are going to have to back out at some point. But I want everyone to really understand, number one, if you have resources that will give you more cash that are approved by your lender, make sure you go through your lender. You can get gift money, you can use resources to give you more cash, but you have to get it approved by your lender beforehand, because
Right.
there are limits to how and how much you can
Yeah.
do. Secondly, if you own a home, there are loan programs out there that will allow you to make a cash purchase and then sell your home. They go by various different names, but you're going to want to go ahead and talk to your loan officers to see what
Right.
products they have available. The next thing I want to mention is I did hear recently about a loan program here locally that is 1% down for heroes. So we're talking EMTs, firefighters, teachers, nurses, So if you know anyone who's looking to buy and they're worried about their cash supply right now, that is a fantastic program to direct them to. Just get in touch with me and I'll make sure you get in touch with the lender. Martin, I want to talk a little bit about, we've talked about qualifying your buyers so that you know if they're going to be, quick to move and ready to do the hard business of writing that offer and making it competitive. If they're not competitive, what resources can we give them to make them more competitive? I want to talk about time management a little bit. When you're a single agent, especially, and you're doing everything yourself, this market is going to exhaust you because you may go out and show 20, 30 homes, write 5 to 7 offers before that client even gets an at bat
Right.
house. So, how can we manage our time? And two things come to mind that I want to pick your brain on. One is a showing agent, which I know you've done that before, but it's not necessarily your model now, and transaction coordination services. So, if you can tell me a little bit about those two, how do those two show up in your business as a potential leverage for you this spring market?
Right. Well, of course, we have transaction management on our side, right, which definitely takes away a lot of the administrative work from our sales agents. Again, I think with time management, the showing assistant model, I've used it in the past. I don't have that at the moment. My agents will cover for each other occasionally, but I think, again, the good news is there's not 30 houses to show, right? And so it more comes down to the house came on the market, let's go and take a look, right? And so the more of the time management comes from your daily 2-hour time block when you're nurturing and staying in touch with people, right? And letting them know what's going on. That's where the time comes. It's not really from showing houses because there aren't that many to show, right? And the hard part is what happens is also you got 10 buyers and I got 20 buyers, you got, because you're not getting, you're not selling homes. So that list keeps growing and growing, right? And that's why it's so important that you pick your top 10. You focus on, you prioritize the people who are ready to go. And like I said, they have to, are they willing to write an offer list price or above list price? Are they able to cover the difference? Will they give the seller possession after closing for free, right? Will they even pay up seller costs, right? Because that helps the seller also. Those are all the different things you want to talk with them about.
I would, honestly, given what you just said, I would have a cover sheet that I go over in every buyer consult to identify their urgency, their motivation,
right,
what they're willing to do with their offer to be competitive, and then proof of funds behind it.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and I would say if you've got 10 really hot, highly qualified, motivated buyers that you're servicing right now, and then there's like 15 down here that can't compete, if you're not going to give those people the service that they need, go ahead and refer it to an agent that can show up for them and is willing to do that work, right? Because we want to provide service to everyone, but you're going to be limited in how many buyers you can work with this kind of model, especially when you get that phone call to go show a house, you better be there within 2 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah.
So, there's not a lot of wiggle room. So one of the things I do want to mention to folks is that, if you don't have a large team model like Martin and you don't have some of these leverage pieces, I did run a showing agent model and a transaction coordination model that was very low cost to me. If you want any more information so that can relieve you to negotiate and do contracts and be responsive and do lead generation, please reach out and I am happy to share any resources that I have. We really are, we're really one team, the local realtor population. And I think it's really, really important for people to put down any brokerage loyalty here and just focus on best practices and education.
Right, absolutely.
Martin, is there any contact information you want to give to folks so that they can reach out if you have opportunities on your team, or if someone wants to buy with your team or sell with your team this year? How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can always call us at the office at 734-761-3060. And I do want to say one thing, don't give up hope, because I have one buyer's agent who already has written 4 deals this year, accepted. So it is possible, but you have to work, right, and do it right.
Yeah, and thank you, Martin, because the information you've provided today imagine if you got this kind of information as a newbie coming into this kind of environment, right? You've already given them a leg up. So please make sure that you make your own buyer consult cover sheet. And by golly, please have them sign a buyer agency contract when you take them on, because you're going to work for these people this spring and you want to make sure that you're protected and your time is compensated for.
No, absolutely.
All right, folks, get a hold of Martin or I if you want any further information. Best of luck to all of our buyers and sellers this spring. It still is a great market. You just need to be prepared and work with the best agents that are out there. So thank you so much. And Martin, I'll see you tomorrow. The Ann Arbor Area Board of Realtors is having
Yes.
a panel on how to select a real estate coach. So for those of you who are board members, tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock to how to select a coach through the Ann Arbor Area Board of Realtors.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks a lot, Danielle.
Have a great day. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.